So now you've got a general copy framework that you're working from. You have a design that you're proud of, it looks beautiful, and a great process so customers understand exactly what you're doing. It's time to make some web pages. So what pages do you really need to set this thing live? One common pitfall that we see dentists get into is they're so excited to be starting down this journey. They put so much work and blood, sweat, and tears in building out this brand and thinking about their philosophy and their position that they just want to blast the message out to the world. They want to write something for everything. They're going to want pages around clinical things. They're going to want pages around the devices. They're going to want to get really technical. They're going to want to tell a lot of stories. But don't let great be the enemy of good. Websites take some time to get going. And so you want to launch something that can serve all of the different markets that you're working with, but also is something that can evolve over time. This website isn't going to go anywhere. So when we talk about an MVP, we're talking about a minimum viable product. What is the least amount of things we can do to set this thing live and get it rolling? And then we can add to it and iterate over time. A great website lives and evolves over time, and we'll talk a little bit about that later on when we talk about what your website looks like a year from now and 5 years from now. But getting started, we'll retouch on something we talked about in the last section, the homepage. So we already kind of have a vision for what this is going to look like. You've got an engaging headline, an engaging subheadline. You've got all of your content laid out in a way that's digestible and connects value points and can lead people into those subpages. So what subpages do you need? Well, you can go back to the 3 stages of the patient journey. That's a great place to start. You need to have at least one web page for each of those that connects with each of their journey points. So let's start with sleep apnea education. This can be a knowledge hub or a single page that talks about the risks, the concerns, the symptoms and signs of sleep apnea. This is going to be the starting point of your educational journey to treatment. After that, you want to move into testing. Again, we talked a bit about this earlier. You want to talk about how testing is easy, how it's accessible, how it's accurate, and how you can even do it at home. At this point in the process, you're starting to get kind of down the funnel to where people are going to be serious about treatment. So there's a number of treatment pages that you don't want to ignore. So number 1 is snoring. We've talked almost exclusively up until this point around the brand, all around obstructive sleep apnea and sleep issues. Snoring is the most searched traffic out there because everybody snores. Whether it's serious and tied to sleep apnea is up to what a test says, but you want to have a place for people to land so that you can kind of connect those dots. So you can say snoring and sleep apnea are very, very closely related. And here are some reasons why you should go forward and get this checked out. One reason we don't feature snoring as a main advertising channel a lot of times is because there are so many different cheap and easy solutions to snoring that sometimes it can seem easier to do those before they get to you. So we want to target people with these pages and this content that are really taking that next step and taking the condition serious enough to discover sleep apnea and move forward. The other piece of the treatment funnel is sleep apnea treatments. So we can't only focus on oral appliance therapy on these pages. It may be the thing that we are hoping to lead people down to. That's the number 1 reason we can help them, but we don't want to ignore common treatment options like CPAP or surgery or laser treatment or any of those things. We want to have this be knowledgeable and consultative to our clients that come in. Patients are looking for information first before they can make a decision or to reinforce the decision they've already made. And so having short sections on each of those treatments not only puts you in the path to being more visible for treatment options through something like SEO and on Google searches, but also lets patients know that you are really caring about their sleep health first, getting them the help that they need and the rest that they deserve, rather than pushing them to a specific kind of treatment. The other side of the treatment path is CPAP alternatives. So most folks that are coming to you that are really, really serious about oral appliances are looking for something to replace their CPAP. And so we've gotten really creative with these at times. We have pages on some of our clients' websites that are just titled, "I hate my CPAP," or "CPAP didn't work." And so we partially do that to capture some of the Dr. Google terms that people are searching online, but also we want to make sure that people understand that we know the severity of the condition and how severe treating something with a treatment that you don't like can be. And so on these pages, this is another area where we're going to focus on features and benefits, comparisons of CPAP versus an oral appliance, comparisons of Inspire and an oral appliance, and we can kind of inch people towards the end goal of getting treatment through an oral appliance with your practice. One new kind of page we've been adding, and something that is a recent addition to the MVP, is something around Inspire alternatives. So Inspire has spent hundreds of millions of dollars on marketing and sales. They've really done the entire industry a favor by making it more accessible, and more people are aware of the condition and how solving sleep apnea can improve their lives. But what they don't mention in their marketing is that it is a surgery, and that you have to go under the knife, and it can be extremely expensive. I mean, in most cases, if you haven't already met your deductible, Inspire is going to get you all the way there. And so people that have gone down the Inspire path and done that research, maybe decided it's not for them, or a treatment that they don't really want to explore due to cost or the severity of the surgery, they're looking for alternatives to that as well. And those alternatives could be something that your practice can provide. From there, you want to have some supporting pages. Those supporting pages can be things like the sleep apnea screener. You want to have the sleep apnea screener live on its own page. In many cases, we'll run advertising straight to it from something like Facebook or Google. In other cases, when we talked a little bit a while ago about calls to action, this is going to be their one-stop shop when they're in a more educational phase to understand the condition. The other auxiliary pages are kind of up to your discretion, but commonly we have these number of pages. You've got your contact page, which we talked a little bit about earlier. This is how people can get in touch with you. You've got your referring providers page. So for providers, you're going out meeting in the community, ENTs, et cetera, you want a place for them to bring you patients where they can upload their data in a secure way that can give you all the information you need to move forward with the patient themselves. And then you've got a little bit of information about yourself and the practice and some of the social proof that is necessary to understand that you're a great treatment option because others have said that. The doctor is credentialed, they have a great history in dentistry. And then testimonials is a final page in this section where you can really highlight a lot of that social proof to say things like, this doctor saved my marriage, or this doctor saved my life. Those statements are incredibly powerful and are something that we really take seriously when we get the opportunity to show off the work and really talk our clients up. The final piece for building your website MVP is start thinking about that future state. Start mapping it out a little bit in your head. Okay, we've got a great homepage, we've got all of our great services pages, and we've got a great set of pages that support all of that. Well, what do we want to do next? Do we want to start a blog? Do we want to start a resource center? Do we want to start selling sleep appliance accessories or pillows or whatever it may be? Kind of get an idea and start mapping out what that effort would look like and kind of what all you need to put in place to make that work. But then launch this website. You can get to those things later on. With a new website, you want to get it out, get Google crawling it, get it starting building some equity. And then once that equity is starting to come, you'll likely be at the next phase where you're ready to add those extra things.